Okay, all sorts of work. We got the excavator. I just bought this dump trailer. We got some dudes out here. We're digging this thing out so that we can do the fountain. So I finally bought this dump trailer. I got it for a good deal. It's like a 7,000-pound trailer according to the tag. It's got two 35-pound axles. And I just went to the dump for the first time with a load of dirt. And when they weighed me, they said I was 21,000 pounds with the truck and the trailer full of material. And I'm guessing the truck probably weighs about 8,000 pounds or something, and the trailer probably weighs 2,000 pounds. So we were probably a couple thousand pounds over. They were going to charge me $65 a pound, but then I found out if I go to the Republic Services public dump, where I already pay, it's free as a resident. So it would have cost me $400 or $500. Now we've been trying to use this excavator, and this thing is just full of problems because it's so herky-jerky. What I find is every time I try to scoop any dirt with this thing, it's so jerky that it just dumps it and drops it all over. What I was doing last night was loosening this dirt and I was wetting it down. So I was trying to wet it down because see how much dust is happening? This poor guy is getting covered in dust. That's why he has to wear a mask. And every time you'd pick it up, it would just spill it by the time you got it into the back. So I need to figure out how to work on the controls. And this unit is different because the controls are under your feet and there's not an easy access. This doesn't just come off. You have to take the whole thing. I'll explain later, but it doesn't come off easily. I may cut an access panel here and then make a plate because it's too hard to get to. And I put this bucket on and this quick release yesterday. This is a quick release that allows you to change out your buckets quickly because I had a claw bucket and I wanted this wider bucket. I waited almost like a couple weeks or months for this bucket and I thought it was going to be way bigger than it is. I paid a couple $100 for that and I paid about $200-300 for this claw. And then another couple $100 for that. So I probably got $1,000 and this quick release, this bucket, and this claw. It's ridiculous. And it's so herky-jerky. Now it's so hot out here and so sunny that I can't really use the phone because it's gonna get hot. But I'm a little pissed off already because I already put a dent in this box. I made a sharp, hard turn and bent my bumper and bent this box because whoever the effing moron is who mounted this here, like people who design trailers are idiots. Now you're gonna say I'm an idiot because I turned too hard and I couldn't see, and then I bent the thing. And look, I bent my goddamn bumper. I'm pissed. I'm super pissed. It's a very windy day. I'm gonna try to get through this. I don't know what's going on with the wind, but these guys have been out here since early this morning. We originally wanted to remove that chunk there, and as you can see, it's well planted. It's not going anywhere. It's in there deep. It's in there deep. I don't know how far that thing goes. And really, they took way too much material out of here. They filled this thing up again. It's over capacity because I told them, look, this thing is only meant to hold 7,000 pounds. When I went to the dump the other day, when they weighed me, the truck and trailer with the material in it was at over 20,000 pounds, 21,000 pounds. So the truck probably weighs 7,000 or 8,000 pounds, and the trailer probably weighs 2,000 pounds. So you can't put 10,000 pounds of material in a trailer made to hold 7,000 pounds. It's two 3,500-pound axles. They're gonna have to take some of this dirt out and put it back. It's just too windy right now. It is just windy as shit. I don't know what's going on today. So they went to lunch, these guys. The plan is here. I told them, I said, we need to go about 4 or 5 inches below the curb line. We're gonna fill that with concrete. And then what we're gonna do is the centerpiece, we're gonna put a round form around it. We're gonna add to it rather than try to, because it's too hard to get it out. And we're gonna make a round plinth and top that off. And then there's gonna be a big giant bowl that's gonna sit on top of that the water's gonna overflow into the fountain, into the pool. And good Lord, it is windy as all fuck. I can't do this out here. It's just, I don't know what's going on. It is nice and cool, so this cold front's bringing the wind. That's what's going on today. Anyway, you know, I wanted to try to get this done before my big party. I don't think that's going to happen, but it'd be cool. The idea here is that this would be it's a 16-foot diameter curb. We're going to have a 14-foot diameter pool that'll be 2 feet deep, or about a foot deep, actually. It's going to be like a 2-foot wall, or not quite, something like that, 2 blocks high. And then in the center will be a large bowl that will just overflow. The reason is, see this wind? If you have a fountain that's tall that has falling water or spraying water, it's just going to spray everywhere when there's wind. So the design is that the water will not be able to blow off of that bowl into the water far enough that it will leave the area. You understand? So the water flow is going to be maybe 8 or 10 inches or a foot tops, or whatever it is, off of the surface of the water. And then the wind won't be able to blow it out. Now, we already have a PVC pipe here from the previous sprinkler system. That's going to feed water into a float that'll keep the thing full. And we already have electricity. So what's going to happen is we're going to put a box here. The wall's going to start out here. We're going to have a box that'll have the electrical outlet, the pump, all that stuff will be routed here. So, and then we'll fill this in. This will have a cover on it with a box, and then this will be filled in with river rocks or something decorative. So the pool won't start until like at least more than a foot in. And then, pardon me. And then we're going to take a statue, like one of these kind of statues, and we're going to put it in the middle. The one I want is the Victory of Samothrace, the god of Nike, the winged, headless woman. Same one that's in front of Caesar's Palace. The wind calmed down a little bit here. This is going to be a beautiful, beautiful addition once it's all done. We'll repaint this curb. It'll all be done in a nice white. It's all going to be just brilliant white. I also instructed that we need to drill a hole, maybe someplace like right here. It's going to go through the curb that will go all the way in and into a drain. And then there'll be a petcock here. We'll put a box that you can open and drain the whole thing out into the parking lot here, which isn't a lot of water. It's not a big deal. And it would run this way and maybe right down the driveway into that drain down there, or it would just dissipate out here. And every so often, when it gets absolutely filthy, since it's not going to be, it'll have a pump, but not a filter. And we're just going to pour bleach and chlorine in there. Not too much. I don't want to kill the birds and stuff, but I don't think the birds are going to mess with them. They might. But the idea is that I'm not going to put anything on the inside of the pool. I thought about filling it with rocks or something. But you can only do that if you're going to have an algae filtering system. Because what's going to happen is just sand and leaves and just pollen and all that builds up in there. And over time, you end up with a thick sediment. By keeping it smooth and clean, right? We're going to do it just like a swimming pool, basically. I'll be able to drain it and then pressure wash or clean or scrub or repaint or whatever we want to do every once in a while. And there needs to be a drain for that, because even if you use a submersible pump, you'll never get those couple of inches of water out. By doing it the way I'm going to do it, so that we put the concrete just this much above where the drain will be. That's all you need, that much. And it'll drain out. So I've put a lot of time and thought into how I want to do this. By leaving this here, we're going to reuse this pipe here, this piece of gray electrical. We're going to make sure and seal that piece right there, or maybe eliminate and add onto it. But that will feed the bowl. So we're going to shave this off basically. And when we put the bowl on there, we'll cut a hole in the bowl, set it down on top of there, and then we'll mortar it in or caulk it in or whatever we got to do to seal it. It doesn't need to be sealed because it's going to drip out anyway. It doesn't matter. But the pump is going to flow the water straight up into the bowl and just fill the bowl. And if we get it perfectly level, if we do it correct, the water will spill over all edges of the bowl. And we may even notch parts of the bowl to ensure that it goes. But we're going to make sure it's level. We're going to put levels on it. We'll jack it up, shim it, fill it in with mortar, whatever we got to do to get that in there. But I feel like they've really dug this down too much, because yards of concrete are expensive. And the more we got to fill in, I'm like, they're going to have to put some dirt back. I mean, for fuck's sakes. I told them, I said, look, we need 4 inches of concrete. Not even. We're just making the bottom of a pool. We just need it to self-level. These guys are a little doing a little too much. And here, by the way, take a look at this. Look how thick my parking lot is. That's like 6 inches of asphalt. Look at that. The previous owners of the property ran a paving company called Sunrise Paving. And they did a good job paving their own property. I got 6 inches of pavement. You know what I'm saying? I love it. All right, we'll follow up on this. So yeah, I had these guys shovel all the dirt out of the trailer back into the hole. But there's a lot more to this story. Get ready for this. So I told these guys, look, too much dirt in the trailer. You've overloaded my trailer. I need you to shovel it back out. I got to go drop my wife off somewhere. I'll be back in 20 minutes. So I left them alone. Well, they tried to be lazy. And they tried to lift and dump the dirt out of the trailer instead of shoveling it out like I told them. And look what they did to my trailer. They destroyed it. They tried to lift the trailer and it snapped the hinges. And it fell sideways, crushing the entire fender. And you can see basically these hinge points here where this is welded to there, right? This somehow, I don't know how this works exactly, but this entire thing is completely destroyed. These idiots. Look at this. I'm not sure exactly how this operates. I just know that there's a hinge point back here. And I'm trying to look at how this is, but this was welded to this. All right, so that's broken off. And the piston over there is all jacked. I hope the piston itself isn't bent. It looks like it is. I can't tell. I'm trying to look here. If the piston's bent, then the entire ram is totally screwed. Yeah, they destroyed my trailer. I just bought it and they destroyed it. This is what happens when you pick up a couple of guys from Home Depot. And I told them, do not do this. Shovel it out, which they did. So I had to pay these guys to fill this thing over full. Then I had to pay them to destroy my trailer and then pay them to shovel it back out. Luckily, it didn't land on the contraption of the battery here. I'm very lucky it didn't hit the post. So what's the plan? This is actually the next day because yesterday I was so pissed off I couldn't even do it. So my buddy Terrence lives across the street. He's a welder and has a boom lift. We're gonna disconnect the ram. We're gonna lift this thing off, set it aside for a minute, assess the damage. We're gonna cut the fender off so that we can move it. I'm gonna take it over there across the street and he's gonna rebuild it if we can. We're gonna fix these hinges, beef them up. We're gonna just have to trash this fender, it's gone. And rebuild this thing and make it stronger. I'm hoping the ram isn't bent. If the ram's bent, I gotta buy a new one of those and that's gonna be real expensive. I can't imagine what one of those costs. So lucky for me, I know a fella. Yeah, this is the current situation. We're gonna try to take this boom lift, pick this thing up. It's a little tweaked. We think the ram's bent. We're gonna try to move it, see what happens. All right, let's see we're gonna lift it up a bit. And lucky for me, I got friends. This one just happens to live across the street. But I told him, I said, help me out with this situation, I'll pay you. But part of my deal with this bro is, I go, anything I got is yours to borrow. And he's got some projects he wants to do. I go, you can use this trailer, you can use my little digger over there. Anything I got you want to borrow, you got it. As long as you help me out in situations like this. This is what it's all about. People helping each other. All right, he needs to just probably stop there and then pull in.
Well, it should, as he pulls up, it should move over.
It should. But I think if he retracts, that'll correct it a little bit more. I'm holding a release on the ram so that's not under any pressure. So that when he moves it, it should completely be loose. And it is. That's helping. That's helping a lot because it's no longer under pressure. And it's self-correcting itself, just like what we were hoping would happen. Yeah, that's working great. Yeah, that self-corrected itself a lot.
But because you let go of that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, holding this.
it looks pretty good now.
It straightened itself out.
I'm wondering if he came back down on it right now, it would probably fall into place.
You might be able to set it back down into its normal spot.
The question is, you want to work on it though, right?
Well, we really need to take that ram off.
Yeah.
So now we got a good look at it. And you know, since it's retracting, it's probably not bent. It retracted quite a bit, so I don't think it's bent.
See if it'll drop straight now.
I mean, if you let it down, it'd probably come back down. The problem is, though, here's the problem. This probably isn't going to line up. It's going to land on top of my pump.
Do you have any, I know you got rid of a bunch of stuff. Do you have any blocks of wood for dunnage?
There's a little log right there and some 2x4s.
We can set it in the frame and block it up so it doesn't get all the way on there.
All right. That was some stakes I took out of the sides of it. Well, you know, if you can, if you can move this way, just even the smallest amount, you could probably adjust, and I can control it with this. So I've got this release help, so this doesn't operate the ram in reverse. It only moves in one direction. This just releases the flow so that it's loose, which will move it in either direction.
Let's do that.
Home Depot. Vatos.
Yeah? How'd they do that?
It's a combination of poor construction and poor operator. They overfilled it. You know, I think here I'll stop it. If he can pull it to the forward, I think we could set it back onto its original place on the frame. We'll have to deal with that frame, that fender. We're gonna have to cut that off. All right, I'm gonna hold the release on this ram. He's gonna just pull on it because it's still connected on the other hinge apparently. And this may just correct itself. There we go, a little tension on it. Trying to protect the hydraulic. There we go. I like it. Now that stump over there might be causing a problem. We need to take that stump out.
It's all right. We'll fix it.
Well, it's preventing it from going in the direction we want it
Yeah,
to.
but we're below the wheels now,
Yeah.
so. We still gotta go a couple more inches forward, but
We need to pull this stump out.
Sorry, the brakes aren't the most gentle on that thing.
So I think we need to take the stump out because it's preventing it from going that direction.
Oh, did it not move though?
It moved over
It looks
some.
like it moved some.
It did.
weird,
Is it off the fender?
it's mobile now.
You can move it.
We can move it.
But I think you could get it all the way on to its spot if we take the stump out. I think you might have to change your clock a bit. So that's how the hinge will. That's way better design and way overkill. And it doesn't need to be lubricated because it's not gonna. That's like 10,000% bigger, better. This is way too much work, dude. Like the whole frame isn't as powerful as this hinge will be.
Well, You're not gonna have a hinge come apart on
The
it.
hinge is not going to come apart. What will happen is the
You might-
entire frame will just come off of.
You might punch the cylinder through the bottom of the bed.
Yeah, I was thinking of reinforcing that. Now, why is this re-welded here? Did this come loose, or did you just toughen it up? Or did you cut it off?
Well, we cut off the old mangled stuff, but
Oh, I
we
see.
just re-welded that just to reinforce it, so it won't give way when it's under pressure again.
So it's a little tweak. My wheels are a little bent. And I don't know if you can fix that, because that just means that the actual axles, the spindles. So I wonder if that's the bearings, or they're just bent.
Well, they don't really have a lot of play or anything in them. I think.
I mean, that's just going to eat up the inside of the tire if I go on a long trip.
yeah, you're just gonna chew that.
Because these are 3,500 pound axles. That means that's 7,000 pounds gross vehicle weight. The trailer itself probably weighs something like 2,000 pounds or 1,500 pounds. So that means that it had a capacity weight of about 4,000 pounds, of which they must have put 10,000 pounds worth of dirt in it. Because this is not a bulldog. This is a stamped piece of metal shit ball here. This isn't any good. All these welds just put together. So this trailer is meant to hold about no more than 4,000 pounds of material, and they put 10,000 pounds in it. So, oh, this is what was on there. So what these guys had put in, the Stellar Trailer guys, that's not even like 1/8 inch. That's not even 2.25, so whatever. So they had just wrapped a piece of metal around that to make a hinge.
Well,
That's yeah. Good job, guys. I guess that's good enough to carry some leaves. All right, so here's the bed off the thing. I like it. Let's see what's under here. So better. So that was bent, so you just made a whole new connection for it. Nice. So I could buy another cylinder ram for about 300 bucks. It's interesting how this prop rod just literally just bounces there. There's nothing holding it. None of these wires have, maybe at one time they had convoluted protection on them, but I don't think so. So they weren't ever protected. I'm gonna have to either rewire or at the very least re-wrap all of this. Last time I was using it, the brakes were working, but then it told me,
have to rewire.
oh yeah. So it was telling me that the rear brakes or the brakes weren't working. I mean, if I wanted to beef this thing up, I could change out these axles. And I could make this into a 12,000 pound trailer by changing out these axles.
You can see it sitting there, but just say, well, this corner is 2 inches low.
That corner's 2 inches lower than what? That corner?
Well, it's because this is where it landed, so it's tweaked it down. It's bent down.
So it's
This beam is kind of bent out where it hit that fender and pulled it out. It's kind of got a little bit of a bow in it, and you're a little bit out of square, but that's probably more from when it got jackknifed.
well, hell. These beams aren't much. I mean, you could build a better trailer than this in your sleep, I'm sure. So it's a light duty trailer made to carry trash and leaves and no more than 4,000 pounds of material. I mean, this bed, you know, yep. Good thing you got one of these. All right, I got the trailer back. I didn't get a chance to film the reassembly and a couple other things. So he built these hinges, made these from scratch. You know, the way they had it before, there was just a piece of pipe here, and then they just wrapped a piece of metal around it and tagged it, and it wasn't a very good hinge. This hinge is way more sturdy than the trailer requires. The other thing that happened was, I think he had to rebuild that hinge down there. The edge of this piston is tweaked. So you see how it, if I look at it this way, you can see that it's bent downward. The reality is it was actually bent to the side, and that whole thing is actually to the side a bit. So what I did was I threaded it back a bit so that it's now like kind of like cockeyed like that, which isn't ideal. I kind of wish it was the other way around, pushing in the other direction, and maybe we'll swap it. But as long as we don't overload it, I think it'll be fine. I didn't want to have to buy another one of these cylinders. It's operating. Let's go ahead and we'll lower it. And I don't think we're going to have a problem with the hinges again. That's pretty unlikely. So the wheels are bent, the axles are bent. You can see that it has stance. It's like a Honda, and it's 2 inches shorter on this side from the tweak. It's twisted, but under its own weight, it will correct itself, and I think it'll fix itself over time. See how there's a gap here? But as soon as you put some weight on it, it'll just correct itself. So it's operating plainly. It's lifting. Of course, there's nothing in the trailer. So just keep in mind, folks, when you have one of these trailers, especially one made for weight, it says right on the tag, you have two 3,500-pound axles, so they can carry a total of 7,000 pounds. The trailer itself weighs a considerable amount. So that only leaves a capacity, carrying capacity of 4,000 pounds, maybe a little more. Look, it's going all the way up. That's the top. Now for leaves, for trash, for stuff like that, this will be no problem. You can't put 10,000 pounds of dirt into this thing. That's not cool. This is a one-way cylinder. You can see that this top is capped off, I guess, and doesn't allow for two-way travel. So basically, all that's happening is we're just opening the valve without power, and then the gravity just pushes the fluid back into the tube. And it comes down. When it's empty, obviously, it's much slower. And, you know, that's the way it is, because it would generally be empty when you're letting it down. So the only thing I got to do now is I've got to rewire all the wires that were ripped out. We removed this box here because it was pissing me off. So I'm going to actually put probably a different kind of box there for the controller. The fender's been removed because it was destroyed. So this wiring here has to be rewired. Not a big deal. Little rewiring, couple zip ties, couple of butt connectors, and I'll have my taillights back. But in the meantime, it'll be functional again. We'll get this box out of there. We still got a fender on this side. The manufacturer of this, Stellar Trailers, California, I called them for help. Didn't really get me. They didn't deny me, but they said they wanted $500 for a replacement of that cylinder. Luckily, we fixed it. This trailer is only about $6,000 new plus tax. So that's about what I got in it now with the repair. It's charging me $2,000 for all the repairs and the crane, because he had to come over with an entire crew and crane just to move this thing, and to make all the hinges and do the welding. And you know, there was quite a bit of tweaking. The thing was just twisted because we had easily over 10,000 pounds of dirt in the trailer, and that's my fault for not supervising my crew. I had these guys, I told them shovel dirt in the trailer, and I should have been here to stop them. You know, it's ultimately an army is led by the general, and I wasn't here to tell them not to do that, and that's what happened. So now we've got the trailer back together. It's operational. I'm going to tell them, do not fill it past this line. That's about 5,000 pounds worth of dirt. If full, and where I'm getting that number is when I went to dump and they weighed the truck, right? How much does my truck weigh? I want to say probably eight grand. And this is a 3500 Ram. Let's see. Let me have a look. Not sure how to read this because this says 14,000 pounds on it. Does that mean carrying capacity or total weight? I don't know. They told me that I was 21,000 pounds when I went through with the truck trailer and the load. So if there's enough dirt in here to bend the wheels, it's more than 4,000 pounds. I think we can fill the dirt up to half and we'd be perfectly fine. Because I did, in fact, carry a full load to the dump and operated it, but doing it twice in a row, I just couldn't handle it. So from now on, we're just going to do light loads, just trash. By the way, nothing to do with the trailer. You guys are always interested in the animals on my property. You know, I got a bunch of cats, but now I have a lion's head bunny. I've been feeding him. Where is he? There. Oh, that's a kitty. Where is he? No, that's a cat.
That's a cat.
That's a cat. The bunny was here.
I saw something laying there.
Well, the bunny was hanging out where the cat is. I'm sure I hope the cat didn't eat the bunny. There's the bunny. Look at that. The bunny and the cat are hanging out. There's the bunny. There he is. I've been feeding the bunny. I just gave him some sugar snaps and peas and some broccoli and some arugula. Hi, kitty. Well, you're friendly. Look at you.
He's just hanging out. Huh?
Hi. You're not coming to me. But I'm the one who feeds you pate every day, just in case you're wondering. So yeah, we have, I don't know, 5 or 6 feral cats, and now we have a bunny. And there's no way this bunny got over the wall. Somebody had to have thrown the bunny over the wall. A cat can jump over that wall, but a bunny, I mean, unless he got through somehow.
Unless he came through that hole in the wall.
There is a spot over there he could have come through. But he's been here for about a week now, and I just feed the bunny. I don't know what to do with him. This is farm life in the middle of Vegas.
You got a bunny, a kitty, and a hippie.
Yeah, I got a bunny, a kitty, and a whatever a hippie is.
What's this out or?
I feed them carrots and pate and feed you Marlboros
I
and
like my greens.
Budweisers.
Yeah, I like my greens.
He likes his greens in the form of THC. He gets his greens every day. Just about. All right, enough of this. This thing will be done here in a minute. I'll put the wires back together. That's the saga of my dump trailer and the Home Depot workers who destroyed it. Those dudes cost me $2,000.
Jose and Hose B.
Yeah, Jose and Hose B. Mr. E. Manual Labor. I'm playing charades with these guys. Whatever you do, don't operate the dump. I'll be right back. I come back, this thing's twisted sideways.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Make sure when you walk away from it, you take the controller. So
Yeah.
you can't,
I didn't think of that. Ah, you're smarter than I thought. Take the controller with you. For fuck's sakes. Yep. All right. That's it.